Corey Sandhagen to copy controversial Mike Tyson pre-fight ritual ahead of UFC Des Moines. Corey Sandhagen is looking to channel his inner Mike Tyson this coming Saturday, and that is extending to his pre-fight preparation. Please, before we continue, do not forget to like and subscribe. With the UFC looking to get back on the road more often, this Saturday, the promotion lands in Iowa for UFC Des Moines with a main event between Deiveson Figueiredo and Corey Sandhagen. Sandhagen is looking to bounce back from a disappointing loss to Umar Nurmagomedov last August by handing Figueiredo his second loss in a row. The longtime bantamweight contender has been a favorite amongst fans for a while because of his extremely exciting fighting style, as well as scoring some blockbuster underdog wins. Sandhagen to copy Mike Tyson pre-fight ritual ahead of UFC Des Moines. Ahead of another big fight in the division, Sandhagen has cracked fans up with his pre-fight antics, recently sharing a skit of him using ChatGPT to come up with trash talk. However, one pre-fight admission from Sandhagen has caused some concern amongst the fanbase as he recently revealed that he will consume a load of mushrooms ahead of his UFC Des Moines fight. One of the most feared men ever, Mike Tyson, became famous for his advocacy of psychedelic mushrooms ahead of his fights, and before his controversial fight against Jake Paul last year, Tyson admitted that he would be high on mushrooms during the fight. "I usually do a pretty heavy dose about 2 weeks before the fight, not like crazy. I'm not gonna do a hero's dose or anything, but yeah," Sandhagen said in a recent video on his YouTube channel. So yeah, I usually do a pretty heavy dose of mushrooms a couple of weeks before I fight. I really just like exploring the subconscious parts of my mind and just expanding everything. It just makes me a more whole person. This is just part of my rituals, and it works for me, Sandhagen continued. Dustin Poirier saw red during brutal street fight where people were dropping left and right. Dustin Poirier couldn't control himself in a violent street brawl after someone rendered him nothing short of furious. In his esteemed career, the Diamond has proven his fighting heart in abundance, regularly entertaining crowds with his all-action performances. Poirier even pitched the UFC a four-man one-night UFC tournament, before eventually agreeing to a third fight with Max Holloway.
UFC fighter Cedric Dumas is
However,
behind bars
on one
in the Florida
occasion, he did get
Panhandle
to
on
fight
robbery
multiple
and battery
opponents in the same
charges.
evening.
Online
It was
arrest
just on the
records
streets
showed
rather than
Dumas
inside
had been
the
arrested
octagon.
on
Dustin
Monday on
Poirier's
5
friend dropped
charges
several
related to
people
felony
during a
home
street
invasion
fight.
robbery without a
Dustin
firearm,
Poirier is
felony
considered one of
possession
the
of a
nicest
weapon by
guys
a
in all of
convicted
mixed
felon,
martial arts,
felony
with
possession
fans
of a
resonating
controlled
with his humble
substance,
personality.
misdemeanor battery,
However,
and
the
misdemeanor drug
athlete
equipment
revealed that if he
possession
messed with his
and/or
loved
use in
ones,
Escambia
then he's not
County.
afraid to unleash his fury.
Florida.UFC Cedric Dumas
During
arrested
an
on
episode
charges
of this past
including
weekend with
robbery,
Theo Vaughn,
battery
the
with
icon explained, "One Mardi Gras,
$558,000
down in
bond.
Lafayette, Louisiana, I was at my brother's house and it was like a street party, and my wife was leaning over a fence, talking to somebody. Guys from next door came over and bent over her back, and one of them put his hand on her stomach and started talking in her ear, and bro." Knowing what was coming next, the host added, "You just so red." Is no secret that Dustin Poirier has great animosity and belligerence, having recently clashed with the likes of Colby Covington and Conor McGregor, but one new addition to his collection of brawls is the one with Michael Chandler. An age-old problem that should be left in the past. Dustin Poirier calls Michael Chandler a bitch, and he is surprised to think that everything was settled between them. The bickering between the two fighters does not stop, but now there is a white flag in the field of war. Imagine a fight between him and me. I love that dog, Poirier dash. He's a real fighter. He goes in there and fights to the finish. You're going to have that guy in front of you fighting and trying to rip your head off for as long as the fight lasts. It's a great fight, Topuria said a few months ago. In fact, such is Ilya's respect for the Diamond, that it was the only name he considered beyond Islam Makhachev or Charles Oliveira. However, the UFC preferred the Holloway and BMF card as the main event of a numbered event.